Hi again. Welcome to A Letter from Scotland from the Pooka Pages. Dear little witches, in that magical place between our world and the other world, where time is no time and anything can happen, Attila the Bun and Meg, the cat with half a tail, sat happily together on a streak of purple light watching both the worlds go by. They were enjoying a game of worlds mirrors, watching what happened in one world reflected in the other. Both the animals observed their favorite human bustle about, busy with the preparations to welcome the summer solstice. They saw her shape a bower from the flowers growing in her garden. They noted the wood for a bonfire had been gathered and the cooking stone set to one side of it. Meg's belly gave a little grumble of anticipation as, like the rest of Meg, it knew cooking stones meant bannocks at some point. They watched an altar in honor of Angus and Brita come to life with all the colors of the summer sun. "It's pretty," said Attila the Bun. "She always makes it pretty for Angus, but not as pretty as the Sealy court makes Schiehallion to celebrate the sacred marriage of Angus and Brita." From their magical seat, both the animals turned to look towards the middle of Scotland, where the sacred mountain of Schiehallion, the fairy mountain of the Caledonians, straddled the space between earth and sky. Here, too, a bower was being made by some of the summer Sidhe. It was a much grander and finer thing than any human can ever hope to make. It was fit for a king and queen to stand beneath and declare their love for each other and their lands. It was a fine high arch in honor of the gods and the sun. Other she-folk scurried about too, preparing for a huge party with fire games, singing, music, and dancing. Either side of the peaceful purple place between the worlds was abuzz with the anticipation of celebrating the longest day. Meg scanned the cooks, looking for those who were friendly enough towards a certain cat with half a tail. He saw some she-cooks he recognized, and he purred in happiness at the thought of the treats to come later. Meanwhile, Attila the Bun stretched and said softly, "Angus Og." "Behind you, little rabbit, where I always am," answered Angus. Delighted, the two animals turned around to face him, but at once they noticed how unhappy he looked. "What's wrong?" asked Attila. "Don't you want the solstice?" asked Meg, the cat with half a tail. Angus Og sighed deeply. "I do. Of course I do. It is part of the story of the year. Brita and I marry at the high point of the summer on our holy ground. The wheel turns a little more. We do serious grown-up God work, and all is right with the worlds." "But," queried Attila, "but I feel like making a little bit of mischief beforehand. I'll be doing my God work for long enough in the summer." "Why can't you do something silly first?" asked Meg, whose little heart hurt on seeing his beloved Angus unhappy. "I don't see why you can't. It's not the solstice yet, and as long as you are where you should be, and on time, who's going to tell you off for having a bit of fun before you go to work?" Angus Og looked at Meg. Then he smiled his huge smile, the smile that is so big it makes flowers smile back in delight. "You know, little cat, you may not have very much in the way of brains, but when you use them, you make a lot of sense." Attila the Bun was a little miffed at the compliment Angus paid Meg. After all, he was supposed to be the clever one. Neither Meg nor Angus took any notice of Attila's little sulk. Instead, Meg said, "So where are we going? What will we do?" "Typical," thought Attila. It's Angus who wants some mischief, and Meg just assumes the invite to trouble is for us too. But he was intrigued. The guide sat between the worlds, looking into one, then into the other. Attila the Bun and Meg, the cat with half a tail, watched him anxiously. They did not like to see him out of sorts like this. After a little while, Angus Og declared, "The human world." With a sparkle of sounds and a lashing of lights, cat, rabbit, and god flashed from the edge of the worlds to a small harbor. Little fishing vessels lined the beach, and larger ones were moored alongside the stone pier. Small stone cottages that normally huddled together for warmth sparkled in the summer sun. This is our home, our human home," said Meg. "What are we doing here?" "Is our human here? Will she join in?" asked Attila. Angus Og smiled. "No, she's not Attila, and she won't be with us. But this is one story she'll certainly hear quickly enough. And as to what we're doing, you'll find out, Meg. Follow me." With that, Angus Og jumped into a small boat. The cat and the rabbit did likewise, not knowing what he was up to. The craft moved gently and swiftly, as if pulled through the waves by Manannán Mac Lir himself. It came to a stop once they were about 1/4 of a mile from the shore. A few hundred yards ahead was a bigger fishing trawler with 3 men on board. The men did not seem to notice the smaller vessel with the god, the cat, and the rabbit as its crew. They were too busy working with their lobster pots. Attila the Bun was about to ask what Angus planned to do, when a change began to come over Angus. Attila and Meg stared. As Angus's arms grew longer and longer, as his beautiful long red hair changed into a grayish-green mop of short curls, as his sweet hazel eyes grew small and his nose became flat, as his mouth widened and his skin turned a tallow yellow, and as the bottom half of his body transformed into a magnificent fishtail. Attila the Bun stared at the merman in front of him. Meg, the cat with half a tail, just stared at the fishy half of him, not able to believe his eyes, or his belly, or his luck. "Don't even think about it, Meg," laughed Angus. Then he was gone, darting over the side of the boat with the speed and grace of a salmon, silver scales shimmying as he made his way through the water toward the fisherman's ship. The 2 animal friends could only watch. For once, they were completely lost for words. Angus Og swam almost to the other boat, then stopped with the upper half of his body out of the water. "Mornin', Callum Beg," he called to the fisherman nearest him. Callum Beg, for that was indeed his name, jumped on hearing himself called for from the sea. Then he jumped some more when he saw the figure of a strange man-like creature naming him from the water. Callum Beg pinched himself. This could not be real. "She's a wonderful woman, your Catriona. You'll not do better in this life, my laddie. Time to ask her to be your wife. So it is," sang Angus. With that, Angus Og turned a somersault in the water, making sure his fine fish fins were in full view. When the top half of him resurfaced, Callum Beg had been joined by his 2 crewmates. All 3 of them stood at the rail of their vessel, for all the world looking like 3 very hungry baby birds in a nest, so open and gaping were their mouths. Angus Og laughed. Then he floated on his back, slapping his tail on the waves, watching it sparkle in the sun. "Camera! Get a camera!" called one of the men. But Angus merely waved a hand, and all 3 men found themselves rooted to the deck, unable to move. All they could do was watch this strange sea creature show off his tail. All they could hear was the strange sea creature calling to Callum Beg, giving him advice about marrying Catriona. After a little while of this, Angus the fish dived into the depths and disappeared. Suddenly, he was back in the smaller boat with Attila and Meg, completely as himself. He was laughing so hard, his hazel eyes were filled with tears. They'll never be believed, he hiccuped between laughs. Oh my word, can you imagine what their friends will say when they tell them about this? That was a bit mean, surely, said Meg. Not at all, answered Angus Og. The laddie needed a push in the right direction. He's too quiet and he loves too deeply. The lassie loves just as deep, but she'll grow weary of waiting for a shy one like Callum Beg to ask for her hand. Did them both a favor. His crewmates won't be slow in telling of it, so he may as well get on with it and ask her. Quite romantic in a way, said Attila. I suppose. Midsummer madness, a bit of fun, a good turn done for a shy lad in love. What's not to like? Asked the god. You turn the fishtail back to legs, muttered Meg gloomily. Angus Og laughed even more. Again, don't even think about it, little cat. We have a wedding to attend, a celebration to preside over, and there will be bannocks aplenty for greedy, hungry Megcats. You seem much happier now, said Attila the Bun. Oh, I am, replied Angus Og. A little solstice playfulness makes happy people, happy animals, and happy gods. Solstice blessings and fun to you all. Fiona Tinker.